All right, ladies and gentlemen, traders, what's up? What's up? Welcome back to another Relentless recap. So, as you guys can see from the title and the thumbnail, it is a red day. It is a max loss kind of a day. So, it's a little bit frustrating. But, however, I would like to say we did manage risk to the best of our abilities. Our max loss ever since the trip to Spain has been much tighter. And so, we did respect it. We did give it a good effort. However, there are some things that we need to improve on and try to change a little bit for next time because it was a hot market day. But I believe that, we just didn't do a good enough job being aggressive early. We were a little on the passive side, even after the first hotter stock. And a lot of this is because we've been trying to be more careful, more selective, have more confirmation so that we wouldn't go red early in the day, especially to start pre-market. So, there's some things that we have to think about in terms of how we want to approach the days moving forward, right? Being not being red is half the battle, but at the same time, on top of that, you got to be able to capitalize. You can't allow some of these good trades to go by. So we're gonna go over some of the tickers we looked at. Uh, I'll show you guys my max loss. By the way, I know this is gonna sound crazy. Hopefully, it's not too dramatic in terms of like people saying like clickbait and stuff. But my max loss is $200. It's unacceptable for me to be down more than $200 on any given day ever since my trip to Spain. After studying with the boys and remembering not what it's like to not be, victim to I can make this back. This is nothing. The scratch trade mindset that we have, it can be good in markets where there's a lot of abundance, right? Where it's like, hey, I just lost 1K. Who cares? Like, stocks are so hot that 1K loss is nothing, right? But in this market, you really have to focus on just those key winning trades and never even try to go red. Just eliminate the red, eliminate scratch trades, eliminate red from your entire psychology if possible, right? If you can, in terms of capitalizing and just having that P&L curve that starts green and then goes slightly higher, and then you have a nice day, right? So in one account, we're green $20, another we're red 60, and then we're red 217 after market open. And I could tell pretty early that we're not, in the chat room, a couple of other guys were saying it as well. It just wasn't looking great. So a little frustrating that I didn't just walk away, because if I did, I would have at least walked away with $30, which is better than nothing. So there's that. But yeah. So let's see here. The first stock we traded, man, I tell you, going back to pre-market today, we had, I believe, OTLK, YYGH. Let's pull up a couple of these stocks. OLTK, OTLK. It's just, man, if you guys watch football and you are trying to get the first down and they bring out that marker to say inches, the day was this close. I could have easily been on the other side of it, but it's almost as if I was lagging behind a little bit on my heels, again, being maybe a little too passive. And some trades just was very poor in terms of timing. We could have got some monster moves, but the timing, whether we sold a little too soon or held a little too long, gave up unrealized gains. These are the kind of things that we encountered. So coming here around 7:15 and 7:25 a.m., OTLK was moving up nicely. And as you guys can see, it wasn't that bad, right? We did have if we zoom in a little bit more and we pull up the charts here to kind of really show you the candlesticks, we did have some nice moves, right? And these are typically the setups that I'm looking for. We had our initial high of day here. What do? We get over that level, we consolidate. The question is always the same here. Hey, is this consolidation going to hold? Are we going to make a new high, or is this thing going to break down? In the event that this thing is breaking out, I want to be slamming it to the buy side here and getting the move, riding it through high of day. These are trades that the timing of the trades, and then when the stock did go, we kind of just, it kind of left without us. It was very difficult for me to chase, and I think today, if I was to chase, you guys might have saw on live stream last week where I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm chasing this move, and boom, I'm making extra 5 to 6 cents on the pop on a penny stock. That's the kind of mindset that I needed in this pre-market. But being that is the beginning of the week, I wasn't super sure how the momentum would be. I kind of just fell victim to not being where I needed to be mindset wise. And then again, right here, we push up in this nice smooth move, and then we give a bigger pullback, a bigger channel. Notice that it does hold up the lows here nicely, and then it curls. 1 minute candle makes the new high, and this thing rips. We get a baby pullback, the micro in here, and then it just. I mean, this one is really eye opening. I mean, I was shocked honestly that the small pullback here resulted in this move, and I didn't take this entry here, man. I was hoping we could see a little bit more of a dip to get in here, somewhere in like this range, but it held tight. I hesitated, and again, inches, right? If I was to just hit that buy button right there, these are the trades. You catch this, even if you're not in with monster size, you catch this right here, and it's like your day is looking fantastic. 56 cents all the way to 64 and then 67. 10 cents, just like that, less than a minute. These are the type of trades that can pretty much solidify your day, and then you're in cruise control. But this wasn't the only one. Let's take a look at some of the other stocks. We had YYGH. Sometimes pre-market also just surprises me with how, was it this one? YYGH. Okay, maybe not this one. Well, we did get a little something here, short-lived though. I was gonna say pre-markets still surprises me with how fast stocks can move. Like they can look like they're looking like nothing in one moment, and then the next. In this case, we went from 55. It pulled back here to a low of 49, and then from 49, boom, 60, and you're there like, dang, I didn't think that this stock was capable of making that kind of move. So I'm still in this place where I'm trying to be a little bit better with reading the momentum. Still got some work to do here, despite having an awesome trip with the boys, studying a lot. Let's see, MNTS. This one also gave a move, but I lost. I lost in this one. I started the day, my daily goal, $500. I started the day plus 250 or 220, something like that. So I'm like, okay, this looks good. We're halfway there. I'm like thinking a little bit, not like a lot or anything like that, but slightly. I thought about the calendar. I'm like, here we go, another green day of us, hitting at least $500, and we gave back our first losing stock was, I believe, MNTS. We did lose a little bit on this one here, as you guys can see, down 71. So from the 200, losing 71 here, I think because it was up, I gave it a chance, but it really and truly didn't reach. It didn't reach all the criterias that I would like, and so I really want stocks that are uptrending aggressively, volatile. It had some of it, but I think it was in some areas it was just too relaxed, and so the front side here, if you kind of missed these candlesticks, 7 a.m., which I don't think I was looking at this one right away. Areas like this where I tried, it just wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same. I needed to capture something more strong, something more aggressive, and that would have been that area there. So MNTS, and it's part of the challenge, right? Sometimes you have multiple stocks moving, and then you can miss one trying to trade the other, right? To start the day around 7. Oh, my IQST. Let's see. I think IQST. No, there's another one. I have to restart my. Hold on here. I gotta restart my platform. Okay, yeah. So let's see. I'm sorry about that. I have to restart my platform here. Yeah, YMAT was the other stock. Let's see here. YMAT. It doesn't look like any time has passed, but at least a good minute there restarting the platform. So why Matt, if we pull this one up, another stock that kind of surprised me. The speed of how this thing moved was ridiculous. From 45 to like 120 in no time at all. And this was the one I got green on, plus $75, plus $200 at the time. It was, it was a nice trade. It was a nice opportunity, but we ended up giving back. So we were up 200. I think we caught this pullback here. The first pullback down here, we caught, which was good. And we also got some action at the very end of this green candle. So before it really came all the way down, we caught a dip, but the best trade we had was a baby pullback inside of this candlestick here, right? Because the first two candles, again, this one, I wasn't, I thought it was just way too early. So in pre-market, a stock can move quick, right? We can go like from 40 cents to 50 cents. And then in the next 3 seconds, you're back down here. So it's like, there's just no way I can like just jump in so aggressively. And this is part of the issue that I had today. But once we start to get this kind of candlestick, it looks much stronger, but still it was so fast, so aggressive that I pretty much missed the bulk of this. If we trace this over here, 80 cents up to like 120, like kind of too much to miss in terms of the meat and the potatoes of the meal, as you can see after this some chop and then another leg up. And so for me, I was a little cautious here, maybe a little too cautious. We did have higher lows and we did get back over the VWAP, but I did not trust this trade right here. And I think that might have been a bit of a issue, a bit of a mistake, because getting in earlier, I could have made something on the way up. Instead, I waited. I'm like, hey, RT, this thing might false breakout early, so be patient. I tried buying up here, and I took my most aggressive position. Down here, I might have had just 1,000 shares or less in this candle, right? And then over here, I took 3,000 shares thinking, man, this thing just broke high of day. It wants to make a new high. Right idea. But as you can see, perhaps if you want to say wrong timing, because the next candlestick here is the one that has the full body. So when I'm taking 3,000 shares right here, this thing goes up a little bit. I'm thinking I'm green and it's going to go. Instead, it slams back down and I stop out like, down here in the candlestick. Very frustrating. That took me from green to red on the day. And in the chat room, I'm like, oh, got to be careful. And but yeah, I still think we need to try to be a little bit better in this kind of candlestick, but very tough to get caught in the false breakout here. And then of course, I was like, man, come on. Only to see it just go in my face here, just a slap across the neck, right? Slap across the neck. Just to see it go on the next candlestick. Kind of tough. But from there, after I saw this, I'm like, you know what, man? Unless it takes off, I don't want to get back involved. And so I didn't touch anything here. So this bounce, which I did, I saw, I'm like, okay, it gave a good bounce here. Lows of 34, highs of 52. I did feel a slight FOMO in these two candlesticks, not getting in on the bounce, but I'm like, hey, just leave it alone. And maybe I think was the right idea, right? Because I really and truly want to just trade the best moves, the front side moves. The big green candlesticks is for me even before like Schwab issues or any of that, like going back all the way to 2021, 2020, 2022, 2019 even. That's always historically where I was able to do the best. Some traders, they love this right here, man. Some traders, they love the consolidation. Tim, one of those guys who snipes the consolidation with high entry. Marcelo snipes the consolidation with high entry. Ohad and myself, we love more of the front side move. But, I remember we even had guys in the chat room. They would make nothing in this area here. They would make nothing, right? And you would think, okay, maybe they're going short and, getting the move down. I don't even know how to this day, how they were so good with the backside trades. But there were guys that would snipe these types of bounces right here. Like, every time with like 100% accuracy, it would seem. And those guys, I remember one of them, Kyle, high on stocks. These guys would be like, "Oh, I'm flat," but by the end of this, before the next try to, the next red to green, hey, plus 5K. It's like, bro, how? But anyhow, this is kind of how the day went for me. I'm a little frustrated to be down 200 bucks, and now I have a headache after coming back in here. So I'm gonna keep the recap short and sweet here, 15 minutes. Tomorrow the aim will be. It's for me right now. It's more of a mindset thing than really like the technicals. So I was telling myself, hey, once you see the first candlestick go and it's strong, and we get up there, you gotta be a little bit more assertive, pedal to the metal, as a guy like Ross Cameron would say, pedal to the metal. You gotta step up to the plate, and you gotta go for it. You gotta go for it. You can't worry about being red or having a red trade right there to start. Once the setup is there, you just gotta go for it and be confident. Manage risk as to the best of your ability, and you'll be fine. That's how it's always been in the past, throughout the years, and so there's no reason why it should be different in this moment. So for me, that was the biggest takeaway, the biggest lesson for the day. Other than that, we did keep things tight. We respected our risk on the day, and tomorrow we're gonna look forward to some more opportunities. So for those of you who are interested, you guys can check out More Edge. This is our metrics platform here, and of course, after the trip to Spain, I've been more consistent with uploading. I haven't been uploading. I'm not gonna lie. I've been slacking off with uploading. It's daily uploads are still not my thing even now, but you kind of have to do what you got to do, right? In the past, when I used TraderView, if I pull up my TraderView here, I used to um I used to upload once a month, and only if there was something very specific that I needed to know about a day, which was rare because throughout my live streams, throughout my live trading, mentally I can see what's happening, I can tell what's going on, and so there's never really a real like need to say I'm gonna upload right here right now every time. But if there was something I needed to learn or figure out, obviously, I would be able to upload and stuff like that, right? But yeah, I no longer use TraderView. If I show you guys my calendar on TraderView, like I haven't uploaded to TraderView since like November, like November of last year, pretty much. Yeah. And you can even see here, I wasn't uploading as much some days, but with this platform though, with Schwab, it was much easier to just import everything, right? This month I did try. This was my first month actually. These 2 months trying Guardian and Sage, and so I wasn't uploading every day, which is why my stats is kind of skewed there, right? Oh man, this headache. The headache came out of nowhere. Been eating clean, been drinking water. Headache just came out of nowhere. So I think maybe time to shut it down and go for maybe a quick walk. January last year looks like it was decent. Couple of decent days there, sprinkled throughout. And anyhow, let's get out of here. We're dragging it way too long. Take care, stay safe, stay green. Catch you guys later.